Welcome to the Reporting Training module. Reporting allows you to generate detailed usage reports about calling patterns and queue activity. You may also design custom reports for special reporting requirements. In this module, the following topics will be covered: call reports, queue reports, and custom reports. These specialized reports may be accessed in the Administration portal under Reporting. In the first topic, Call Reports, we will explain and give examples of concurrent calls, call logs, and call reports. Call reports, concurrent calls. The concurrent calls report displays the total number of simultaneous calls over a date and time range that you define. First, specify the reporting period by indicating the from and to dates and the from and to times. We will select March 1st through June 1st, starting at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Then select one of the following report types and indicate the setting on which to report. By call type, generates a report on all calls, internal calls, and external calls. By origination, generates a report on outgoing and incoming calls and allows you to select the originating provider. By provider, generates a report based on the individual provider or all providers. We will select by call type, and then we will select all calls, internal and external. When finished, click Chart Report to generate the results in chart form. If you hover over a data point, the type of call, the date, and the number of calls will be displayed. If you need to hide a certain type of call from the chart, click that call type in the legend. Call Reports, Call Log. The call log generates a log of call activity. Logs are generated for the date range and the criteria you specify. Criteria to choose from includes call logs, phones, call queues, IVRs, providers, caller ID, and incoming DID. First, specify the reporting period by indicating the from and to dates. We will select May 1st through June 15th and all calls for the report type. You may now view the call log in the browser window or output the log to an Excel or XML file. Clicking on the Actions button will display all the events that occurred during that call. Call Reports, Call Reports. Call Reports generates a report about call activity. Call reports are generated for the date range and the criteria you specify. You may ignore weekends if your organization is not active on these days. Call reports may be broken down into different ways, such as by date, by account, by hour of day, by day of week, or total cumulative. There are multiple report types to choose from, and each one has specific data fields you may add to your report. The report types are Overview, Phones, Call Queues, IVRs, Providers, and Incoming DIDs. The data options for these types are total number of calls, total number of incoming calls, total number of outgoing calls, total talking time, total call duration, average talk time per call, and average call time per call. Your options for generating a report are Chart Report and View Report, which may be viewed in the browser window or output to Excel or XML, which will create a file. Let's generate a few sample reports. First, we will choose our date range, May 15th to June 15th. Ignore weekends. And for the breakdown, we will use by date. For the report type, we will select Overview with total number of calls and select Chart Report. This generates a line chart with data points. If we just change the breakdown from by date to by account and select Chart Report, a bar chart will display the number of calls by user account. Now let's highlight all the data options and select View Report. This generates a report with every data field for every user. These reports may be sorted in ascending or descending order by clicking on the header field. In the second topic, Q Reports, we will explain and give examples of Q Logs, Q Reports, and Q Status. Q Reports, Q Logs. Q Logs generates a list of Q calls based on the criteria you specify. Just like the call reports, you specify a date range, you have the option to ignore weekends, and you will select a report type and data options. The report types and data options are Q Calls, generates a report on completed calls, abandoned calls, redirected calls for specific queue extensions. Q Member Calls generates a report on completed calls, missed calls for specific member extensions. Q Member Logins generates a report on members logging into and out of specific queues. Let's generate a sample report. We will choose our date range, May 15th to June 15th, and ignore weekends. For the report type, we will select Q Calls, select all of the data options, and click View Log. This generates a log that shows the member that answered the call, the caller, how many misses, how long the caller waited, and the result of the call. If you click on the Actions button, you will see the call detail information for this call. Q Reports, Q Reports. Q Reports generates a report of queue activity based on the criteria you specify. This area of the reporting section provides the most information and may give call center supervisors and sales managers the information they need to ensure their goals are being met. The queue types to choose from are Queues, which generates a report on specific queue extensions, and Queue Members, which generates a report on specific queue members. When you select queues, you may select your report breakdown from the drop-down menu. The options are by queue, by date, by day of week, by hour of day, by talk duration, and by wait duration. Then you select your reporting fields. The reporting fields you have to choose from are total calls, completed calls, abandoned calls, redirected calls, longest queue length, average entry position, average talking time, maximum talking time, average wait time, all calls, average wait time, completed calls, average wait time, abandoned calls, average wait time, redirected calls, maximum wait time, all calls, maximum wait time, completed calls, maximum wait time, abandoned calls, and maximum wait time, redirected calls. Then select how you want to generate your report. The options are Chart Report, View Report, Output to Excel, and Output to XML. Let's generate a sample report. Specify the date range and set Ignore Weekends to Yes. We will select extension 200 for sales, by queue for the report breakdown, and total number of calls for the report fields and select Chart Report. This generates a bar chart comparing the total number of calls to completed calls, abandoned calls, and redirected calls. When you select Queue Members, you select the queue members, the queues they are a member of, and the report breakdown from the drop-down menu. The options are by member, by date, and by talk duration. Then select the fields you want to report on. The options are completed calls, missed calls, login times, pause times, maximum talking time, and average talking time. Then select how you want to generate your report. The options are chart report, view report, output to Excel, and output to XML. Let's generate a sample report. Specify the date range and set Ignore Weekends to Yes. We will select a few queue members and then extension 200 for the sales queue. For the report breakdown, we will select By Member, and then for the report fields, we will select Completed Calls and chart the report. This generates a bar chart showing completed calls for each queue member. Queue reports, queue status. Queue status shows the current status of a queue and today's statistics for the queue and its members. For a real-time view of a queue, use the Switchboard queue widgets. To see the statistics, select the queue extension and click on View. Custom Reports, Scheduled Reports. In the final topic, Custom Reports, we will show how to create scheduled reports. Scheduled reports are similar to call and queue reports, but now you may set up a report to run at a certain time with a particular output, and it is sent to you via email. To create a new report, click on Call Report or Queue Report. We will choose Queue Reports. Under the General Settings tab, name the report, select the desired output type, and enter the email address where the report will be sent. Under the Scheduled Information tab, specify the start and end date, or if you want the report to run indefinitely, set Run Forever to Yes. For the schedule occurrence, indicate how often the report should run. Your options are hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly. Then select the start of each report: day, week, month, or year. And then you select the report you want delivered. These are the same reports we covered earlier in this module. Now that this course is complete, you should have an understanding of the following topics: call reports, queue reports, and custom reports.